know what you're getting yourself into.
I think I don't have a problem with. I don't disagree with what Andrew said. The way I look at it is, you watch them you see them evolutionary charts from Neanderthal to Homo sapien.
Yeah.
Y'all are the first motherfucker out of Neanderthal.
Yo, man, he said y'all are right after Neanderthals. We're a fool for that, man. He meant that too. What's going on, you guys, and welcome back to A Different Perspective. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button for your boy. So, I was gone on a cabin trip for a few days, but while I was gone, something interesting happened. Fresh&Fit did an interview podcast with both Adam Schulz and Brittany Renner. We're going to check out that Brittany Renner video tomorrow, but today, we're going to check out this one with Adam Schulz. Now, I only watched about half of this video, but from what I saw, it's a great conversation, right? Whether they agree with each other on some of these ideas or not, it's still a grown and civil conversation. It's what we like to see, right? So we're going to have the necessary discussions in regards to what we're about to view here. But just to give y'all a little synopsis of what this is about to be, Adam Schulz is going to start this whole thing off talking about the issue that the world was having with Fresh&Fit in regards to their preference and dating black women. So, with that being said, let's get into the video.
Yeah.
Okay, and we got to get to the bottom of something. Why do you guys not like black women?
Here we go.
Well, we just came from the KKK rally, so we really can't.
Were you well received?
They told me I couldn't join.
They
They told me I couldn't join.
Yes,
like, hey,
yes,
you're
they have their rules.
You don't count, bro. Get out of here, boy. I was like,
I'm fucking with you. But obviously you saw what happened on the internet. You guys saw us react to it. Like I've always said on this podcast, if we ever talk about somebody and they want to clarify their opinions or at least have a conversation about it, you're always welcome. You said, hey, I want to come on. You are here. The floor is yours. Tell us what happened.
So I went to this KKK rally. No, I'm just kidding. No, man, long story short, so this is kind of a longer story, but...
Right.
We got time.
Oh, we got time? We got time today? Yeah. So we had Asian doll come on our show.
Yeah.
Right, and you booked her as a guest.
Yeah, so
right?
Funny story. So I met her in the club. We spoke, me and her manager, and we had a cool vibe, cool person. Hey, come on the show. We'll show you some love. Boom, boom, boom. She agreed. Cool. Next day comes around. Her manager's there. She's 2 hours late.
Right.
But we're like, you know what? We'll start the show. You know what? Just showing you love. We'll still bring you on, even though you're 2 hours late.
Yeah.
But, you're coming into it kind of like 2 hours late. And then from there...
And then, mind you, so we had...
I thought that was going to be a funny story, but anyway.
Been having the show going on already. Yeah. And we had 2 girls, well, actually 1 girl that was on the panel. She kept interrupting. And you guys know, running a podcast, you can't have people having sidebar conversations.
Yeah, distracting for the listener.
It's ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? So, and we're live.
Yeah.
So it's not like we can, do in post or anything like that. So it's like everything they say, they can hear it, and the audience, doesn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
So I told her, for the 7th time, and this is when Asian Doll just sits down, hey, can you stop having a sidebar conversation? I've told you 6 or 7 times now.
Right.
So Asian Doll kind of steps to the girl's defense, oh, you're mean. And I was like, I just stopped the show, and I was like, how am I mean? And I explained to her, I had been telling her prior to you getting here
7 times
what was going on, 2 hours plus, for 2 hours long.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, you're just a mean ass nigga. And then she I don't care, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And even after I explained to her the situation, she basically responded by saying, I don't care.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. I'll do what I want.
So now, with Asian Doll, I would have expected for her to have that you can't tell me what to do type of attitude. I don't care who y'all are, where I met, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. So how it unfolded is exactly how I expected for it to unfold. You know what I'm saying? Rather it been the girl next to her or some other girls that were there and they had been talking out of line or talking when it wasn't their turn or talking while somebody else was talking. You don't do that on a podcast. I'm pretty sure Asian Doll would have came to whoever's defense regardless of who it was, whether they were black, Spanish, Asian, or whatever, because that just seemed like it's a part of her personality.
I'm gonna say what I want, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever, well then you can leave then. And Fresh had booked her, right?
Yeah.
And her manager was there. So instead of me, out of respect for him, because normally I'd be kicking people off the show, I don't care. But out of respect for him, because he booked it and everything, I was like, you know what? Fresh, you handle this. I was mad. Not mad, but I was serious. I was like, well, you got this. And I just walked away from the situation. I had to use the bathroom anyway. I always drink water. So, and then by the time I came back, I was gone for a minute or 2. They were gone. And they left. And I don't really have anything bad to say about them. It's just come on, man, please respect the platform. But is
that where this whole conversation stemmed from? Because I heard about the Asian Doll situation. I'm not really too familiar with her, but I am...
See, I didn't talk a whole lot about that situation with Asian Doll, if any at all. I don't really recall. Because it wasn't that serious. I saw it for what it was, but people use that situation to bring up other clips of what they talked about in previous videos. And that stuff I did address.
Familiar with people potentially being rude on a podcast. It's your podcast.
Yeah.
You don't like the way they're acting, you could potentially kick them out.
Yeah,
That's
so
your prerogative.
I think
we're talking what?
I think what he's saying is because people were offended by that, then they go scrub through the history.
Exactly. So let me now I'm gonna fast forward to now I'm gonna fast forward.
So you're saying the internet is like, fuck these guys, I hate them, let me figure out why.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
so basically all that happened, right? Shade Room posted. And of course they posted out of context, like, oh, you know, he told this girl to get out, blah, 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 and he was being rude. But they don't realize that I was actually talking to the other girl, not Asian Doll herself.
Oh.
She stepped in to intervene for the other girl.
Got you.
But she had not known that girl was being extremely disruptive to the podcast 2 hours prior, for 2 hours before that. And I actually documented in another show the 6 or 7 times I told her, please stop having cyber conversations.
Right.
Please stop doing that. Please. Being nice the whole time.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I felt as though when he was saying you can go, you gotta go, whatever, that he was like talking about Asian Doll. Or Asian Doll and that girl. Because the girl was talking Asian Doll, if I remember correctly. But I would have to replay that clip.
So what she does is she goes on Twitter and says, I was just defending a black woman, Cap. Right? Like, it wasn't that you got called out because you didn't know what happened prior. You didn't want to look stupid. So now you're going to go ahead and say, I'm a savior. I just was protecting a black woman. Then...
Yo, is it just me? Or does Myron's shoes look crazy big? Yo, them things look crazy.
That's when Twitter pulls out that old clip from a year ago and says, these guys are racist too, check this out. And then bang, that's when all the backlash started coming.
And it's funny.
Now, what's the clip we're talking about? It was the one where you guys were saying that you don't, your preference is dabble in the dark.
Yeah. So
the Knight Rider shit was funny, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Now, it's
David
not...
Hasselhoff, man. I always
Here's
say
the thing. Knight Rider is looked at as fucked up because you're saying you don't do it. But if I was a white dude and I'm like, bro, I'm a Knight Rider, bro. I don't think that. I love Knight Rider. Might be racist too. Now that I say it out loud, but not received as poorly. That being said, I understand where you guys are coming from. You're like, yo, none of y'all had an issue with this a year ago. Now that this girl stirred up the internet, made it, and Shade Room made everybody hate us. They're looking for the worst things that we said. And if you podcast for 9 hours a week, you could easily go and find an excerpt in those 9 hours where you look horrible.
So I'll explain that part, right? So this backlash happens, right? So I was defending a black girl, Cap, it wasn't that. You just look dumb and you didn't want to look dumb, so you guys said defend a black girl, boom. Then someone resurfaces this Twitter thing. Mind you, we had already went viral because of this
on Twitter
prior, like 6 months before.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Literally.
So, but the thing is it never went to YouTube. It just stayed on Twitter, died there. Like something called Black Twitter. I didn't even know it existed until this clip came out.
Shocking.
Black Twitter is definitely a thing. Black Twitter can get real toxic too.
Yeah,
real.
White girl Twitter. They're real. I had a bunch of angry people messaging me after. So anyway, so the clip resurfaces, blah blah blah, and with that episode, what they did was they pulled like a 30-second excerpt from an episode we did about a year ago where we talked about using different dating apps to meet different girls. And our show, for those of you that might not know, we shoot it live, right?
Yeah.
And we get super chats that come in, and we read the super chats. We make jokes, ha ha ha, all that other stuff. We take call-ins.
Those are donations, by the way.
Donations
to the show.
And I want y'all to pay very, very close attention to what's about to be said here.
It's a very interactive show with our audience. So someone sent in a super chat, and mind you, we had just finished making fun of some other YouTubers in this clip, but prior to what they actually clipped. And then he says, hey, have you ever heard of the dating website Blacked? And then that's when we made those jokes like, haha, we don't dabble in the dark, you know, Knight Rider, whatever. And we say that joke all the time about like Knight Rider. We ask girls when they come on, like, what?
Now, mind you, what they say about jokes, there's some degree of truth in every joke, right? Pay very, very close attention to everything that's going to be coming out of their mouth for the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Girls, hey, do you like the BBC, whatever? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, she's a Knight Rider, David Hasselhoff in the house, ha ha ha, right?
Right.
No one says anything, but they want to go and pull that clip.
Because the difference in y'all saying Knight Riders for those females that are liking black men, and then y'all saying Knight Riders for y'all not liking black women, the difference is like versus dislike. It's more acceptable to like something than it is to dislike something. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're trying to like marginalize people for being a certain type of way. You know, there's a difference there. You're saying, hey, we like accept, and y'all are saying we dislike, we don't accept. Like, there's a difference.
Don't you think the issue is you guys just declaring that you don't really date black girls? Don't you think that's what people are upset about?
That's the issue.
Well, I mean, at the same time, we have preferences, right? And we have standards.
That's perfectly fine to have preferences.
But, you know, we were kind of joking because of the blacks dating app per se.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
like, oh, we hate black women. It's more like, okay, we don't really date like hood black chicks per se. Like
Right.
LaShawn and LaQuisha. But it wasn't
Right.
like we hate black women. It's like, they took it that way because of Asian doll, but we didn't say we hate black women.
Right, but you
Yeah.
would date black girls, is what you're saying.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we have in the past.
Bro,
It's
I
not our
did-
normal preference.
I had a yacht party,
Right.
bunch of white girls. I was dating the only black girl there.
Right.
It's like, bro, I don't hate black women. My mom's black. My sister's black. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Weird.
It's just like, you know, they're going to sensationalize it, paint this narrative that you guys are racist, take a 10-second clip. And here's the thing. If anybody watches
Yeah.
our podcast, we're kind of like you guys, very politically incorrect, make jokes.
That's
you
the
know,
thing. I
laugh
never
at-
criticize people for
know,
jokes.
yeah.
That's the. I'm not gonna. But then again, we might have different prerogatives with the podcast. Like,
And even with that, you know what I'm saying? I think if it doesn't really sound like a joke, like that clip from that segment that we were able to listen to, it didn't sound like a joke. Maybe they were joking prior, maybe it was intended to be a joke, but it didn't sound like a joke. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Myron going into detail saying, we'll talk to some light-skinned girls here and there, but black girls we typically stay away from. And then Fresh saying, "Yep, I agree with that." That didn't end in a way that sounded like a joking manner. But hell, look, what do I know about comedy?
I think you guys are more like a life coaching space and like helping guys become the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
And I think also with that too, because this is something that I've dealt with and had my struggles with when it came to this whole content creation thing, is what people come to you for and understanding how to differentiate when you're being serious versus when you're cracking a joke. If you don't make it blatantly clear that you're joking, then they could take you as being serious, right? So you got to know that fine line.
And we are comedians that just say fucked up shit all the
And I
time.
think-
It's literally called flagrant too. Like, we are being flagrant on purpose, so
Yeah.
you're going to be treated with different expectations.
Of
Yeah,
course,
true,
of
that's true.
course. And the thing is this, like, I make fun of everybody, you
But
know.
go into the preference thing, man. Let's talk about what.
I make fun of everybody, so it's like
Fuck that.
when they-
Preferences, bro. Like,
Preferences.
I
Yeah,
want to
here's
know.
where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. Well, I'm not saying I don't have a problem with a joke, but I have empathy for trying to be funny, and then it comes out fucked up, and then everybody's on your neck.
Exactly.
That's something.
Yes, yeah.
Al can speak to black shit a lot more. I can speak to, you're trying to be funny. It comes out fucked up. That's not what you meant.
Right.
What I don't like, what I find corny as fuck, is my preference is not my women. Now, I thought it was I'm not dating my women, period, which is the corniest human being outside of a criminal to me, period. It's just, those are your roots. Those women are reflected in your roots. So if you're saying, hey, I don't generally date them, but I have more space for it, even though I still think it's a little corny between, that's just
But
my
you
thing.
have, like,
Keep it real.
Akaash
Keep it real.
is the
Yeah, that's fine.
extreme. Like,
Yeah.
Akaash only dates brown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Akaash
was-
has been with one girl in his life who is his wife.
That's my wife. That's an
So
Indian
this
woman that
is
was
like
important to
loyal
me.
through and through.
Okay.
And I understand it's not as important for y'all, but as an Indian, there's not a lot of us who are famous. So whether you like it or not, people are looking at you as a role model. You guys have established yourselves as role models. From simps to pimps, which is another model I find kind of corny, but I looked into what you guys are about.
I love that he's keeping it 100 and he's telling them what he wants to be telling them to their face. Says, I think this is corny. I think you guys are corny for doing this and saying this. Love it.
And a lot of
like
this
it.
shit is just childish, which is fine if you want to be funny. We just talk about how doctors ain't shit for 45 minutes. We are not in any way life coaching. We are not in any way trying to help men outside of, hey, come have a laugh for a couple hours. If you're going to paint yourself as life coaches and then say shit like, I just don't really fuck with black girls like
I
that.
guess my like,
And that's the thing too, like when they made that joke, and I'm air quoting, when they made that joke about not dating black women, if I were to make a joke like that, I would say, I'm just playing, y'all know I was just joking about it, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they didn't say, now we'll date black women every now and then. They didn't say that. They just said that's not our preference. And listen closely. They're gonna be saying some more that's gonna make you feel as though, was that really a joke?
just curiosity. I'm just curious. Is like, where does preference come from? Like, I was trying to think about this after I saw the clip, and I was just like, why do I like what I like? And I really was thinking about that. Like, who's...
And I want everybody watching right now to think about that yourself. Why do you have the preference that you have? Why do you like what you like? And why do you dislike what you dislike, right? Really think about it. Hell, even comment down below. Share why your preference is what it is.
Who decides that? Is it my life? Is it my surroundings? Like, if I was raised in Mexico, I'm sure I would find Mexican girls beautiful. I would eat Mexican food. Like, these would be my preferences.
Yeah.
But preferences aren't really choices, right? Culture dictates our preferences.
I think the experiences also, I want to say what you've been raised on, what you've been taught. Because, for example, I'm from the islands, right? Barbados.
Yeah.
So I've seen mainly black women my whole life. Now, when it came to like tourist girls, I was like, wow, white girls are here in Barbados? Lit. I want to see what's up.
Wow.
So I gave it a try. Like, it's pretty dope. Now, it's two different cultures. So for me, it's like, okay, let me try something new, see how it is.
Yeah.
Now I'm here in the States, it's like, okay, Spanish girls, white girls, girls from all over the world, all right, bet. However, regarding black women per se, like, dude, like, my thing is, like, we're in a space where, like, people are targeted, especially the black people per se, black, white. And it's like, whatever you say can be used to the extreme. So what we said was kind of like, I want to say, not funny to them, but to us it's like, we're just cracking jokes, trying to be...
You're being hyperbolic about your dating preferences.
Yeah,
right? That's
much.
kind of how I took it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I think I think you can understand how the internet might have taken it, right? And then doubling down and being like, it's okay to have this as a preference that you... Like, usually your preference is what you like, not what you don't.
Exactly.
Right.
I think that was the biggest issue. Like, if you're just
Yes.
like, hey, my preference is I kind of like Latinas, I don't even think you get any pushback. But saying my preference is I don't like that.
Right. And that's exactly right. That's where they were getting a whole lot of pushback. Is stating so clearly what it is that they don't like versus just saying what it is that they do like. You know, that's what made them look like bad guys when it came to their dating preferences or just disliking black women in general.
That's, I think, where people start to feel rejected, and then they go, why don't you like me, man? Like,
And
what's
also
wrong?
the way they said they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was, like, bothered by the clip. It's like, you guys go out of your way to say what you don't like, even though that's not what you're discussing. It's like, your preference is what you do like. But then the way in which you went about how you don't like black women, I don't like the ratchet, I don't like the ghetto, I don't like the Shaniquas, like... That's like, if you were a white person saying all that, that's racist shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm just disappointed in you guys as black men to be talking about our sisters like that. So you don't have a problem with the way you spoke about your sisters like that? Like, if it was him saying the same thing, you would be upset.
No,
So if he
because
was like, oh, I don't like ghetto black women, I don't like Shaniquas.
it wouldn't bother me.
That's a preference.
Wow.
Because the thing is that
That's lame.
the only thing I can
That's late.
control is my reactions to what happens in the world. Like, the world is not a fun, it's not like a rosy place where everyone is gonna not be biased or
This is true. You can only control your reaction.
not be racist or whatever. Like,
Which is why I tell my black folks all the time, if somebody is coming at you and they're using the N-word, control your reaction, because their goal is to get a reaction out of you. And if they use that word towards you or against you, and you are ready to lash out at them, whether it's verbal or physical, then you've given them a little slight W. Rather you win the argument or the fight with them, you've given them a slight W because you addressed the word and you let it be known to them that they were able to get under your skin. So think about it.
I understand that there's going to be people that are inherently racist. It is what it is. And the only thing I can control is my emotions to it. So I don't get mad about what people say because that's just the way things are. The world doesn't owe me understanding. So all I can do is control.
Real quick. You know what's weird is like,
So,
the word racist
it wouldn't
keeps
affect me
getting
personally.
thrown out. Like, I never saw it as racist because I don't know. I didn't believe that you guys wouldn't date a beautiful black woman.
Yeah, we
that,
have in the
like,
past for sure.
yeah, like I just didn't believe that. And again, you guys can.
And you heard Myron's response right now, right? He said, yeah, I have in the past for sure. What does that tell you? That it's not something that he's currently doing, right? Or that he probably doesn't have much interest, if any interest, in doing whatsoever. You gotta, take all that stuff into account when you listen to this conversation.
Correct me, but like for me, the word like preference is so weird because I think our preferences are really like mechanisms that we use to find like emotional security. You know, like if a person's like super quiet, like if I'm like this quiet, like shy dude, my preference is probably an aggressive girl.
And you hear what he's saying, right? This is why I love Adam Schulz, man. He's a comedian, but he's a thinker too, right? Especially a forward thinker, forward moving thinker. You know, he said that our preferences, you know, he assumes and thinks that our preferences are our preferences to be used as mechanisms for our emotional stability and security, right? So if they're saying they don't want to date black women, for the reasons they don't want to date black women is because of what Adam Schulz just said. And that would be incorrect and ignorant to say, because that's not all black women. One of the things that's not being addressed in regards to what they said that's an issue is you can literally say the exact same things about every nationality of person as to why you wouldn't want to date them. They're talking about the ghetto ratchet black women, but then they kind of made it seem as though they just wouldn't deal with all black women that are of a dark complexion. You can say the same thing about the Spanish. The Mexicans got their paisas. The white folks got their trailer park. Like, you can say the same thing, but no one is saying those things. No one is saying I don't date Mexicans because of paisas, and no one's saying I don't date white because of trailer trash. So it's might be a joke, but it's not a good one. Not funny.
My preference is probably an aggressive girl, because she allows me to be in my safe place.
Right.
I don't have to go like out of my way to go get her, and I'll probably prefer that girl, but it's not based on like this chemistry thing. It's really based on like what allows me to feel like emotionally secure, right? And like, let's say I'm a controlling ass dude. I probably want a girl that is a little bit more like in need of guidance, because submissive, because then I get to feel my safe place, which is controlling.
Right.
So like, I feel like if a girl, and again, I can't speak for y'all, but I feel like if a girl gave you that emotional security, regardless of what race they were, you guys would date them, no?
Facts.
I can't feel like just because they're...
See, I love hearing this. I absolutely love hearing this, especially coming from a non-black man. You know what I'm saying? Coming from a non-black man. Obviously, you know, you got the Indian dude over here on the left that feels differently. He's strictly Indian. You know what I'm saying? Which if I were to show you like what my preference is going down in order is black, Indian. I'm right there with you, brother. Black, Indian, then maybe Spanish, Asian, white. You know what I'm saying? That's in my order. But like Adam Schulz is saying, if I can find that security in any one of those women, that's who I'm gonna be with. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the skin color. Doesn't matter the nationality or the race.
They're black, you would say no.
Yeah, here's the thing about the clip.
Context.
Like I said, it's context. It's us having a good time. It's us making jokes. We make fun of everyone. It's just that they don't clip all the other segments of us making jokes on everyone else. They want to clip that one section at 20, 30 seconds.
Well, they might be on the lookout in the future. They might clip the Asian jokes, the Spanish ones or whatever. You know, especially if it doesn't sound like a joke.
Say that, you know, try to paint a narrative. You guys are racist, and because you guys are racist, this is why you kicked
I don't
Asian
think
doll off your show.
racist.
And
I don't think racist.
I never saw
and,
racist.
The racist,
Yeah.
I don't.
But
well,
I'm just saying what they
no,
were
that's
trying
fine.
to paint us
And
as.
you guys,
know what I'm saying?
I know people who know you. They say you're good guys, stand-up guys. So I don't have a problem with you as people.
And that's what I was about to say too. I met Fresh. I met Fit. When I was down there in Miami, they took care of me. They never ignored me. They made sure that any needs or that I needed, they were met. You know what I'm saying? Really had a good time down there with them. Do I think they're racist? No. The people that's working behind the scenes with them, Trey and all them the dudes that's running the boards and the super chats and the computers and the cameras and all that stuff, stand-up dudes. Them two dudes was the reason why I almost got a second apartment in Miami. Trey, shout out to that dude, man. That dude, he knew so much about my camp, my sector of content creators here in Atlanta. Me, Jessica, Jamal, Lonnie. He knew so much about us that I felt like that I can go down there and I had somebody that I can really kick it with because he's already familiar with who I am and my peoples. You know what I'm saying? So, and them black, they all black, you know, so, nah, they ain't racist. So racism, I think you can, folks that was saying that about them online is folks that clearly don't know them. And if that was the case too, they wouldn't have the people that they have on the show. If you're going to be that word, then you don't associate with those people on any level, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have you on this podcast, and then you know what I mean, like
Yeah, sure, we can have a
give a
Exactly.
jab or whatever.
Exactly.
But
I'm like curious. This isn't
it's
a
not
gotcha thing.
racist
Like,
to
I'm
me.
literally curious to have the conversation.
Yeah, what does
Yeah,
bother
yeah.
me that I think it's not racist is self-loathing, which to me, I don't particularly give a fuck how any other race looks at us. I give a fuck how we look at ourselves. So if I saw an
Exactly.
Indian saying some shit like that, that would bother me more. Andrew told me he don't like Indian girls all the time. That's great. Don't date them. That's good for me. But when an Indian says
More
that
for you,
shit,
right?
then it's like, yo,
I
you.
do that because you say you don't like white women.
I know. And
But if you
isn't
keep
it-
this up,
but
I'm
isn't
gonna
that
divorce my wife and fuck a lot of Indians.
isn't that refreshing from a minority though? You look at throughout the rest of the record. But I have a problem with somebody that I feel is self-loathing, and I'm not gonna be as offended because you're not from where I'm from. But if I was black and
Okay, so
I was
what do you
Alex,
say-
I'd be like, yo, that shit is more than racist is self-loathing, and that bothers me.
What do you
People
guys say
with
about
black-
what you're
that?
saying.
Like, do you guys? So let's remove the racism thing here.
Yeah.
What about? Do you think it has anything to do with self-loathing? Is there any like kind of like internalized hatred, which might not even be your fault? It might be like the surroundings you were in and made you feel like these girls weren't good enough for you.
I would say honestly, bro, like just experience, man. Like,
Yeah.
for example, like you said earlier, if I met a girl that's like feminine, submissive, and like black, I could date her. And like in the past, like I told you, I had a yacht party. She was the only black girl there. I was dating her. So it's like, it's not I hate black women. It's more like experience shows me that hey, for whatever reason, like if I find somebody with those traits, I'll date them.
What does this sound like to y'all? Does it sound like backpedaling? It sounds like some backpedaling, right? But what's interesting is, here he is sitting here making this statement saying that if he finds one that's feminine and this, that, and the fourth, that he will date her. Like I said before in the reaction that I did with, Fresh&Fit and the back planter guy, I was saying if they have dated as many women as they have dated or they proclaim to date, then I'm pretty sure there's a solid number of black women in there too, if not half. You know what I'm saying? So for them to be making the statements, rather they're joking or not, why even make those statements if it's a joke? If you deal with black women, or have dealt with black women, then why say that you don't deal with black women? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And I doubt it's a joke because even when they're not joking, they're saying it. Right? Even when they're not joking, they're saying it.
So this is interesting. A buddy of mine.
And we have different opinions on it,
Oh, well, go. I want to hear yours. I
Oh,
want to hear
yeah,
yours.
no, I mean, it's just like what I'm saying is that like it's not our normal preference, as in like it's not what I normally date. But if you were to take 10 girls that I've dated in the past, maybe 1 or 2 of them would be black.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not the normal thing I go for. And as far as like me being offended if someone were to say something about a race or whatever, like I said, I wouldn't personally be offended by it. We make jokes on everyone, so it's like,
Right.
hey man, we make fun of Asian girls, white girls.
Again, I don't have an issue with the joke. I have an
Latinas.
issue with the mentality.
Yeah,
I think it's not about the
a
jokes.
mentality.
The joke to me, you were talking to a guy who's made the craziest jokes, death threats from everywhere. I can separate myself and be like, that's a joke that failed. That's the high wire act.
We had
of
Alex
trying to be
Jones on the
funny.
podcast.
No,
We don't
of
give a
course.
fuck
I
when it
showed
comes to the
Yeah.
jokes, right?
No, for sure. But
I just want you guys to understand where the reaction is coming from because I think it maybe will better help you.
no, we
respond to
understand.
it.
We understand.
So it's
but-
not the jokes. It's literally just feeling like you don't date a specific group of people
I
and them
don't
trying to
think you
understand. I think that's what it is because I think what you said is probably the most honest, which is, yeah, if this girl met all the things that I like in a woman and she was black, I'd obviously date her. But I don't know if you feel the same way.
No. If she met my requirements and her skin tone is irrelevant, but what I'm saying is that
I don't know how much I believe that. Now he said twice in this thing already that in the past he's dealt with black women. But it sounds like moving forward, he won't deal with black women.
most of the time,
And it's funny because it's almost a contradiction because when you think about his nationality and where he's from and what he expects, he's like, I would never cook. Where I'm from, no, the women cook. It almost seems as though he would need to find a woman where he's from, a woman that has the same core traditional values that he himself were brought up on, and those women are black. I don't know.
most of the girls that I've dated
Right.
just didn't fit that parameter of
So here's the thing. Like my buddy right now. Here's the thing. Like my buddy right now, who's trying to find a Jewish girl. Right. He might be in this room, and he's trying so hard to find a Jewish girl. Yeah. And he just found Latin Jewish girls.
Ooh.
And he goes, "Oh my God, they got the whole Latin thing, and they're Jewish." And now all of a sudden, the Latin thing is kind of like a preference. Right? They're so sexy. They're so intimate. There's like this spicy, real connection. Now, there's nothing wrong with you saying, I like the Latin thing. Right? Now you're putting that affect on all Latin women, which is not necessarily the case, but you want a Latin girl who is Jewish. Right? So is it possible to put a cultural affect on a race? Maybe when you guys were speaking about race, you were really speaking about a cultural thing. Because if you made a girl from Lagos, Nigeria, they might act completely different than a girl that you're meeting from South Florida, a girl that you meet from California, a black girl, etc. Like, there's not going to be this monolith amongst black women, right?
Exactly right. Because what he's saying, like I said before, can apply to every nationality of women. So it's like to say I don't date black women or don't want to deal with black women because of what a subsector of black women do or how they move. It's just like, oh man, I don't know. I think you might as well throw that being a joke out the window, because like I said, they say the same stuff when it's not a joke. So F that joke mess.
I would say I would say like,
both of you.
But that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Where you're raised will determine how you act for the most part, right? So Caribbean girls are different from girls from the U.S. versus like Nigeria. So it is culture, man. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm looking for certain traits first, and then obviously, you know, her race is irrelevant if she matches certain traits that I'm looking for in a woman.
I would think that he would be looking for attractiveness, ethnicity first, and then find the traits of character and all that type of stuff within those women after. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Ain't that what you're doing? I'm looking for attractiveness first, and I want to find out the other stuff about you after. Right? Because your attractiveness is what's going to draw me to you in the first place.
But what I'm saying is that most of the women that I've dealt with just don't tend to be black, and it's not something I necessarily go for.
That black women tend not to have? This is a dangerous question, but I have to ask.
I mean, there's obviously, we know the stereotypes, which I won't even go into right now. But a lot of the time, it doesn't necessarily match with what I'm looking for.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Wait, quick question for y'all in here. Have you ever dated a HUD black chick?
Yeah.
Have you?
Only Indian girls.
Have you?
Oh.
That's why, again, I have.
So, if you were to prefer a girl, would you date her? Question for you.
I don't look at, I'm like, race doesn't come into play. Like, I just look at the traits. Like, you guys, that's why I don't understand how you don't see an issue with what you said. Because you both just said, hey, I look for traits first, like the personality traits, and it doesn't matter her skin tone. But then in the clip, you guys are saying, I don't date black, I don't date dark, I don't fuck with Shaniqua. Like, you're just talking about race in that entire clip. So how do you not see the problem with the clip when you both just say, hey, I go for personality
You said
first?
LaShonda and LaQuisha.
And you said you don't do dark.
Exactly.
Bro.
I think there's a lot of reading into this like clip right now. Like, it's like,
Here's what I think though. I
do believe
it's a joke, man.
I mean,
like,
that's a cop out.
Yeah.
It's a cop. Like, if your show is educational and I'm trying to help people, and then
it's like I don't go there for jokes.
When I say something wrong, oh, that was a joke.
I run around the room.
We gotta make it
I think
ninja stuff.
I'm
like,
always going to be
jokes,
on the side. I'm always going to be on the side of jokes, and that's just who I am. I'm a comedian. I support that.
But that's the thing, though. Like, folks don't go to Fresh and Fit for jokes, right? There hasn't been a time, and I've watched hundreds of their videos. There hasn't been a time where I was watching a video and I'm like, oh, this is funny. Only time stuff be funny is when some of them females be saying something that's out of line and out of order and it's just dumb. That's the only time I ever found humor in their content. But hell, maybe they do say some funny stuff here and there. I just haven't heard it.
I can't necessarily ask him to have the same empathy as us as comedians.
Of course, Al's not a
That's
comedian.
a black dude.
Al's not a comedian.
That's
But
not
a comedian, I always got to defend
I can
jokes.
understand. I'm trying to be funny and I misword some shit. But then when I peel it back and I go to and I dig into what you're saying, it's still just as it's more troubling to me.
So say that. Like say, hey, I misspoke. I told a bad joke. But
Listen to this, though. Listen to this. Listen to this. Say that. He says, you should say that I misspoke. I said a bad joke. But listen.
you guys are doubling down and saying that you're like, there's nothing wrong with what I said.
Nope. There's nothing wrong at all.
You see, bam. That right there lets you know that it was not a joke. If they feel as though that they're standing 10 toes down on what it is that they're said, and that there was nothing wrong with that clip and what they said, nothing wrong with it, then it wasn't a joke. Right? This is the part of the video that I've been waiting to get to. It wasn't a joke.
But
See,
I don't.
like,
but that's cap.
bullshit.
Y'all
That's
both
bullshit.
said that you date black women as long as they fit the things that you want.
It's not our normal preference.
But no.
It's like it's like they pedal forward and then they pedal backwards. They pedal backwards and then they pedal forward. Do you not date black women or do you date black women? Said it's not our normal preference, then because if it's not your normal preference and it ain't what you go for, then you pretty much meant what you said and said what you meant.
No, but like, okay.
In that clip.
You're taking Dublin Dark as like every blogger. We're saying,
Yeah.
LaQuisha LaShonda, I'm not dating no hood black chick, bro. Hell no.
So you misspoke. You made a bad joke.
Nigga, we said it's a joke.
No, but I'm saying, so you made a bad joke. So you wish you didn't say that.
No.
Like,
But is
you're
this
being hypocrites. You're
is
being
this
hypocrites, and this is
ego,
a cop
though?
out.
I don't know. I just feel like it's ego. It's like sometimes
Yes.
we get in the
Yes, it
situation
is.
where like
I've done this.
I said some shit. Listen, we do this shit all the fucking time,
Yeah.
right? You say some shit and then you get all this backlash. And you're like, man, fuck all these people. I'm gonna stand on this shit to the end of time. But if it's not really what you feel, then what you standing on? Like you, I think are being the most honest. You, I think you got too much ego,
No,
and
it's
you're
not
not
ego
willing to
at
back
all. It's
off
just
on
that
that.
there's a lot of reading into this clip from like a year ago of us
No,
just
bro,
having a
but
good time.
you're making it
talking on
about the
pod.
clip. I'm making it about what you're saying right now.
Yes.
My preference is, which is honestly bullshit. It is, I don't want to date black girls.
That's it. That's really what it is. That's really what I feel that it is. It's saying it's almost like they're like, okay, no, we have to say that we're okay with black women. We have to say that we're okay with dating black women now because we're under fire right now. We're under fire, so we have to say that we're okay with it. I honestly don't think, specifically more so Myron, that he's too interested in black women. Fresh might still dabble in it, dabble with black women from time to time, but even him, I think he's pulling back from the black women altogether, and they're just saying what they're saying because they've dealt with black women before. And I get it, because there's many of black men that have dealt with black women that no longer want to deal with black women at all. They don't want to deal with black women at all. And it's almost like these guys are those guys, but they don't want to admit to being those guys as well, But maybe I'm wrong.
That's the way every black dude that fucks white girls says it. I've dated black girls in my life.
Yeah.
All right, bruh. Who the fuck hasn't except me? You know what I mean? Everybody gonna dabble in everything. It is the mentality that I have an issue with, and Alex is upset with the specific words, true, but underneath it, he's upset with the mentality.
Yeah.
And the words bothered him, but I think the mentality would still be troublesome to him, where it's like, what is, I need a girl that's submissive. Like, that's, if y'all are really trying to help men.
Nah, that shit is nice, bro, because I
That's nice.
got one that's
That's
not,
nice.
and that's
It's nice,
difficult,
but it's a
bro.
lot of shit
We love
that.
Asian
It's
girls.
difficult, bro.
No, that's fine. A lot of stuff you guys say in general, I think, is stuff that's kind of childish. It is. I saw a clip where you were like, "Oh, the nuclear family's falling apart. What do you do? I don't get married. Just don't get married." You actually trying to help men, or you talking to fucking incels who are 18 years old? You know what I mean? That's some shit you say to college. I'm gonna turn you from a simp to a pimp. All right, bro. Can we grow up? You guys are self-help. You are, hey, we're trying to help men. So either we're funny, or help men and be real and be honest with yourselves and don't have an ego like, no, I have a preference. Be honest. Have an honest conversation. And I don't think the manosphere or maniverse or whatever, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think there are people who are doing it really well. The roommates, Hafiz, that's who put me on to you guys. Great. But let's just be mature about what we feel. And part of that maturity is, yeah, it was a bad joke. I don't actually feel exactly that way.
I mean,
I love the way he put that. I love the way he said that. He kept it a buck.
if you guys feel that way, that's fine. But we
Respectfully.
make our content. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? People enjoy it. We make jokes on it. We provide entertainment. We provide education. We do everything because if you just only provide, self-help stuff without any type of entertainment value, people
I
aren't
agree
gonna,
with that.
I think jokes are.
So
I think
we,
it's a
we,
joke.
have,
No,
we have a good time
again,
with it.
I don't have
No,
a problem with the
we have
joke.
a good
I'm
time
telling
with
you
it.
guys.
I think it's clear. I think if, and I also would say this. I think it's very important that men learn certain skills, right? I think it's important that men learn how to fight. I think that it's important they learn how to talk, and I think it's important they learn how to
Make money.
have sex.
And sex.
Yeah, I mean that, like how to have sex with a woman, not literally the act, but like how to get a woman to the point where they want to have sex with them. I think these are really important because I think the better that men are at those three things, the better they become as human beings. And I think when you're not, right, you're a bitter kind of fucking angry.
Of course.
Dude. So
School shooters.
I think
I know some guys like that too. They haven't mastered all of these things and they're bitter, depressed, angry all the time, quick to snap. It's a sad sight. It's a sad thing to see. And some of them, you try to help them and they're so stubborn that they won't even accept your help. It's like, dang, like I can show you some things. I can help you with these issues that you're having, but you're so angry that you won't even allow someone to help you.
talk. That's what happens with the school.
And I want
Ain't
to
no
say
school
something
shooter
real
getting
quick
pussy.
too.
Like
As far as like the marriage and the incel thing, what we do is we provide guys information so they kind of go into dealing with women, especially in the West, in a way where they can protect themselves. Because marriage, even though it's a fantastic institution and we definitely believe in a nuclear family, the setup for it right now is not optimal because the divorce courts heavily, favor women.
Yep.
There's a lot of situations where guys can absolutely get destroyed from divorce and marriage. So we just tell guys, hey, go with your eyes wide open, understand the laws, understand the stats, and know what you're getting yourself into.
I think I don't have a problem with. I don't disagree with what Andrew said. The way I look at it is, you watch them you see them evolutionary charts from Neanderthal to Homo sapien.
Yeah.
Y'all are the first motherfucker out of Neanderthal.
Yo, man, he said y'all are right after Neanderthals. We're a fool for that, man. He meant that too. But yeah, y'all, we gonna end this video right here. We got about an hour left, but Andrew really starts to go in on questioning their ideologies, Fresh and Fit, and why it is that they think or why it is that they do some of the things that they do. And it gets good, y'all. It gets good. So, like I said, I'm going to have the original link down in the description box below. But y'all know what time it is. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more. As always, you can follow your boy on the gram and Twitter at Artofkickz. And I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. See you.